Okay, definitely not clickbait. This video, we're going to go through the ownership of my WRX as well as the WRX that T-Dubs had. But if you want to find out why Subaru of Japan, and more specifically Fuji Industries, banned me or rejected me, skip forward to when I talk about my WRX. Hope you enjoy the video and the content. Definitely hit subscribe if you'd like to see more automotive stuff. Thanks. A car that you and I have both owned is the Subaru WRX, right? They call it the Impreza WRX.
Yep.
You had I came to California and you had it. I think you picked me up from the airport in it, right?
Yeah, the bug eye one. The second one.
The second one, yeah. So you had, God, look at that. You had like one of the first gens.
Yeah, it was like right when it came out. I was working at a dealership at the time, and the guy hooked me up with one at like Invoice. And they were selling for like $5,000 over sticker when they first came out.
That's nuts. I don't remember this one. Like, I feel like the first gen wasn't popular until the bug eye came out.
Yeah, because they didn't bring the WRX stateside. That was only in Europe. The 22B was only in Europe.
Oh,
so when
you're
they
right.
finally decided to bring the turbocharged sport car, it was the bug eye. It was the Gen 2.
You're right. So you had the
like
bug eye.
Yeah, the first gen looked better, but it was like a family four-banger. It wasn't turbo box.
What everybody wanted. And then I remember I came out there, and we'll get into like what we did to them, but I loved that car. Yours was World Rally Blue, and you had the gold wheels at that time, right?
Yeah, I bought a different set of wheels from Tire Rack, and then I powder coated them gold and put them on. It looked amazing. Cool.
Yeah, like this, right?
Yeah.
And then that was kind of
that was what it looked like.
That was a crazy car.
Yeah, that car was so cool.
Yours didn't have the STI tail, right? Which I didn't like.
It had the wing. Yeah, it had no wing.
It had the black.
It had the gold wheels and those lights.
And you had the hood scooper.
The second picture you had, this pretty much that. I lowered it. I had that. It was sick.
That car was crazy. I mean, I just remember the color blew me away. Because think about it. What year was that? It was a 2000?
2002, I think.
And it didn't.
I didn't have it rare, so I souped it up. I did all that stuff on it. I think I paid $23,000 for the car. I souped it up, got the wheels, did all the thing, and I sold it for $30,000.
Oh, that was crazy.
Yeah, so back then you couldn't make money on cars. Like somebody offered me $30,000. Someone left a note on my car and said, "I'll buy it from you. Please contact me." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And I emailed him, and he said, "I'll give you $30,000 cash for your car." I was like, "Okay." I took it.
So talk about what you did. You lowered it. You said you lowered it, right? You had it on springs.
Yeah, I had the iBox shortened springs, and then I had the rally lights on the front. I had.
So you actually had lights. You didn't have the covers.
I didn't have the covers. I had a blow-off valve. I had a Vishnu Stage 0, and I had the gold wheels. I didn't do anything crazy to it. It was fast. It was nice. I didn't put exhaust. I mean, sound wasn't a thing.
Yeah.
Back then, for me at least, I never cared about like being loud.
But we were talking about your exhaust. Like I think to get that stage, I think you did a downpipe.
Yeah, I did a downpipe. I think Stage 0 I had the downpipe and a chip and something else.
Right. And it was, of course, manual.
It was manual. The clutch on it had to be replaced it had a recall in the clutch. But that car was bulletproof, like
the Boxster engine.
Yeah, that thing was amazing. I love that car. I wish I still had it, but whatever.
And then
keep everything right.
Yeah, well, we try, but you see something else and you're like, oh man, squirrel. But I remember riding in that thing, and then I came back to Virginia and I was like, man, I got to get that. And I don't remember what year I was out there, but I must have been 2004 or right after, because when I got back, I went to look, and this is what I was able to get, the 2004, and I think they call this the bubble eye.
Yeah, no, I like your I like your headlights more than the ones I had.
Yeah, I mean, I think out of all the years, like this only goes up to 14, but now they haven't really evolved much off of this. I liked mine and yours the best.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, the lights on yours were the best, I thought. I like that. It's like it's rounded but not buggy like the one I had.
And I got mine, and this is what I got. This is the day I bought it, and I took it out to like just I pulled it over to like construction site and took a picture, and that's what it looked like stock. And I remember like sending you this picture and going, dude, this is amazing. And actually, I bought it that day, and I already had this Impreza badge ordered, so I swapped it out when I left the dealer.
So sick.
Like, it had started because you had already started modifying yours.
And you could do all that stuff on your, not like today where it's like complicated.
Yeah.
Now you could do it all. Like I'm by no means a wrench head, but I like can do the vast majority of stuff for that car.
And then evolution, right? It just started getting crazy and out of hand where no badge, STI, hood scoop, and then this is winter time, so on the East Coast we had snow. And I remember putting these Rota slipstreams on it with like the ultimate winter tire, Hakkapelitas, and it was just a horrible drive all-wheel drive. In the snow was phenomenal, but when it was 50 degrees, it felt like you were driving on ice. And
that car was sick.
Then they started putting like the actual Japanese from Subaru Japan, the aero guards, and then I developed like a whole company around the car and started importing parts from JapanParts.com.
Oh yeah, the Subi tuning. I remember.
Yeah.
That.
And then like aero guards. What I like doing, and I like doing this to the car, any car I buy, I call it OEM Plus, right? And it's not something I invented, but that name, but it's like make it look OEM, but enhance it with maybe parts that are off of a model that's higher than yours, or parts that are maybe not readily available, right? So like this front aero guard was from an STI. Obviously this is not an STI, but you know, putting that on there made it look a little different. These aero guards came from Japan, which we couldn't get stateside easily. Remember the Defi gauges, or Defi, however you pronounce it?
Oh my god, those are crazy.
So these were cool. This was like exhaust temperature, boost, and oil temp. And then you record, this was the controller for it. And you could actually record as you were driving what the performance on it was and play it back to kind of understand where you should set your peaks and everything. And
no, that car's insane.
It was such a clean install. Like I loved it. And this was my like the forever memory I'll have about the WRX. It was the hazard button from an S203, which was a Japanese model. And I bought it, and I remember just posting pics. Remember we used to use forums back then, right? Yeah, Naziak, right? So I posted pictures on Naziak, and everyone was like, "Whoa, where did you get that button?" And I was like, I can get it for you. And then I started bringing them in, then I started reselling them, and I remember I got up to like 10,000 of these that I had sold, to the point where Fuji Industries, who owned Subaru at that point, sent me a letter saying like, you gotta stop, like we don't have any more of these buttons. I think the one thing that I remember that I really liked about owning a Subaru, owning a WX, was the community, right? Wasn't it like wherever you went, you felt like there was always somebody from Naziak around? Or
I mean, and that was the fun thing, because everybody liked working on them, and I wasn't great at it. So if I asked a question on the forum, people would be like, "Hey, we're gonna do like a build on Saturday. Bring your car by. We'll work on it." And that, to me, that was so cool. Like a community of people, you'd come by, you know, they'd help you install something or do something and mod it. It was fun.
It was the best and the worst feeling too, because I was like you, right? Like I could do like basic things. I could fill up like washer fluid, but these guys are like putting a new exhaust on my car, and I wanted to participate. They're not going to take money, and so I'm like sitting there like doing like ninja moves to like, give them a free show or something, and they're like, what's wrong with this guy? And then like somebody would go, can you pass me like a 1/8" socket? And I'm like, I don't even know what you want a sandwich?
I mean, the blow-off valve was one I remember thinking, like, should I install this on my own? I think is what I asked, and somebody said, hey, we're doing a thing. Well, why don't you come by? We'll install it.
And it's crazy. It's why those cars are still holding their value, right?
Yeah, people love those things. We were looking at them the other day. I'm like, dang, had we just kept it?
Yeah.
Not that it'd be worth a fortune or anything, but, like, they held their value well.
Dude, a 2002 to 2004 WRX with high mileage, anywhere from like 8 to 14,000 depending on the condition. People are still looking for these cars, and I think if you're getting this car, if you're getting into a WRX, lower it, drop it like an inch, because it's an all-wheel drive. You don't want to slam it. Get yourself either nice wheels like Pro Drive or something, or a cheap set like Rota's. They would hold up. Tint, and then a couple other things, and you're done.
Blue with the gold bronze wheels, that combination. I would have never bought gold wheels had it not been for that car, but now I'm like accustomed to it, right? I've got a Beamer. I'm fine with gold wheels. Not that I have them, but if before I would have been like, gold wheels, what kind of pretentious like douchebag are you? But now they work on that car. I don't know why.
I mean, usually when you say gold wheels, you think about like the Sprite Donk, right? That has 30-inch gold wheels on it, and you're like, yeah, I don't want to do that.
Like but shiny gold. This is like a matte. Bronze almost finish.
Yeah, and that sound, you could like, even now, we're pretty close to the main road. Every now and then I'll hear that noise come by, and I know it's a Subaru, it's a WRX. Yeah, I don't get that anymore, right? Like, I mean, you do. You've got we'll talk about it. You have a nice M3 that's got sound. Your other car doesn't even make sound, right? The Tesla.
Yeah. The Tesla makes no sound.
It's
the
just
reverse.
like
they added some ambient sound, so you know that you're gonna get run over. That's about it.
I appreciate that. Like, and can you change it? Can you make it like a cat? Like, so you put it in reverse. Meow meow. You remember the WRX had a Momo steering wheel, right? You remember that?
Yeah.
And didn't it have Recaro seats?
Recaro seats and the Momo steering wheel.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was so cool.
God, that car was perfect for like our age group.
It really was. I mean, at that age, like, because you couldn't afford. I mean, I bought mine for 23. Like, it wasn't like I was bending over backwards to afford that car. And then, like, anytime you wanted to upgrade it, you would add a little more money to it.
Yeah, and they weren't like crazy prices for the parts. I remember like Ibach springs or TN springs or however you pronounce it, like $180 or something.
Yeah, it was very reasonable to play around with. Like.
Yeah.
If you put $2,000 in a year, like, you're putting stuff in it every other month.